This week on Best Horror Movie You Never Saw, we're taking a look back at the animated horror comedy Todd and the Book of Pure Evil, The End of the End. For those who aren't familiar with the short-lived live-action Canadian horror comedy show Todd and the Book of Pure Evil that ran from 2010 to 2012, this whole film is kind of a spoiler as it is set immediately after the series finale, which ended on a cliffhanger due to being cancelled after the second season rather than ending on its own volition. So if you don't want the show to be spoiled for you, you should press pause this video, watch the show, then come back when you're done. Or don't. I'm not your dad. Anyway, the show itself was about loser metalhead named Todd Smith, played by Alex House, along with his dim-witted, chubby stoner best friend, Curtis Weaver, played by Bill Turnbull.
Dude, we totally kicked ass!
They were jerking off at us.
I thought they were jerking off with us.
His snarky goth girl crush, Jenny Kalinsky, played by Maggie Castle, and nerdy Hannah B. Williams, played by Melanie Leishman, who ends up becoming romantically involved with Curtis, banding together to try and stop an evil demonic book, the eponymous Book of Pure Evil, from killing all the students at Crowley High School. The success rate is mixed, to say the least. Now, the Book of Pure Evil is summoned when students in the school want to make some sort of wish, and the book will then find a way to turn their wishes into twisted nightmares, such as a girl wishing to be skinnier having her fat become a scary sentient monster, a boy with a small penis wishing for a bigger one, and thus his dick transforms into a monster that turns people into stone. Even the main characters sometimes fall to the book's whims. In the pilot episode, before the characters were aware of the danger the book posed, Todd wished to be a rock god, and while the book granted him amazing musical talent, it also caused the entire school to convulse and bleed from the eyes, almost killing them, for Todd was able to be snapped out of the book's spell. Afterward, in the second episode, Hannah B. uses the book to create Homunculus as a science project for the upcoming science fair, which of course breaks free and causes havoc. And finally, at the end of the first season, even Todd's goofy friend Curtis uses the book to give himself a new arm. Luckily, by the end of the episode, Hannah is able to science Curtis up a new, shiny robotic one. Other really important characters include Atticus Murphy Jr., the school's seemingly nebbish guidance counselor, who's also a secret Satanist cult member. However, the main villains are actually three metalhead dudes who hang out outside the school. Instead of being petty drug dealers, though, they turn out to be agents of Satan, who are trying to push Todd to be the prophesized pure evil one, who's destined to destroy the world and allow Satan and hell to reign over Earth. Of course, Todd tries to reject that destiny, but it's always something that haunts him throughout the series once he finds out. Finally, Jason Mewes, of Jay and Silent Bob fame, plays the fun-loving and advice-spewing Jimmy the janitor, who possibly knows more than he's letting on about the Book of Pure Evil, as well as the familiarity and rivalry with the demonic metalheads. Anyway, what makes the show, and the film for that matter, great, is the fact that even though the tone of Todd and the Book of Pure Evil can often be goofy, juvenile.
Okay, whatever. Let's just get him out of here before someone pisses on him.
Ew. Despite that, it is nonetheless gut-bustingly hilarious. Furthermore, for being mostly a comedy, it also contains a variety of cool creature effects, which are pretty much all practical, an obvious plus, as well as lots of blood, gore, and action. It even has some legitimately creepy horror elements and intriguing lore. But most importantly, the show and the film actually care about the characters. They go through real heartbreak, real pain, instead of just one-dimensional archetypes to bounce jokes and sight gags off of. When Todd and Curtis fight, it feels real and earned, as the bond the actors created between the two characters seemed unbreakable up to that point.
It's not your fault.
I know. It's yours.
And when Jenny and Todd finally become a couple, it also feels earned because we've seen them grow as people, with Todd becoming braver and more responsible as the show progressed, so that Jenny is in fact responding to those qualities and not simply falling in love with Todd due to the sterile mechanizations of an admittedly cliched plot point. Now, as I said before, the animated film, Todd and the Book of Pure Evil, The End of the End, which serves as the true canonical end to the Todd and the Book of Pure Evil story, starts right after the last episode of the series. So, again, I'll give one last warning to viewers about major spoilers coming up, just in case you prefer to check out the series first. Something I'd personally recommend, as it's a great show, and it's only 2 seasons long on top of that. Anyway, at the end of the series, Atticus, now the leader of the satanic cult, finally attains to the Book of Pure Evil. However, Todd is able to fight him off, trapping Atticus into the book, and then sending them both away for good, thus denying his destiny as the pure evil one. Unfortunately, Hannah B., the love of Curtis's life, is killed in the battle. Thus, Curtis vows revenge on Todd, ending their lifelong friendship, which is played jarringly straight, and packs an emotional punch. However, The very last shot of the series is set in a creepy underground laboratory, where there are rows of human-sized pods. A door from one of the pods slides open, and out of the mist walks a clone of Hannah. What? And that's how the series ends. Of course, this wasn't the intended ending. Like Alf before it, where the series ended with the government kidnapping Alf to do God knows what to him, Todd the Book of Pure Evil expected more seasons. In fact, the series creators wrote out storylines for a season 3 and a season 4 where they had found out the show had been cancelled. Reportedly, a lot of these plot points made it into the subsequent animated film, which was mostly funded through an Indiegogo campaign from fans who wanted to see a proper conclusion, especially considering that juicy cliffhanger. So, how did the creators intend to end this thing? Now, the animated movie opens with a recap from Jason Mewes' Jimmy the Janitor, narrated over a painterly montage, where he obviously imagines himself as a buff Adonis.
With the book gone, I was free to leave the school for the first time in 16 years.
Which explains how the show ended for viewers who may not have seen it, such as Todd trapping Atticus in the Book of Pure Evil, Todd finally getting together with Ginny, as well as the death of Hannah B and Curtis's vow for revenge. When we're all caught up, we unfortunately found out that when Todd sent the book away where no one could ever find it, he actually sent it to Timbuktu, which he thought was a fake imaginary place.
But I just don't get it. If I'm the all-powerful pure evil one, then when I sent the book away, it should have gone away forever.
Just where did you send it away? Forever.
Oh, dude, I'm a genius. I sent it away to this imaginary made-up place that no one could ever find.
And just what is the name of this imaginary place?
Timbuktu.
Timbuktu is a real place.
What?
Of course, it isn't fake. So one of Atticus's dim-witted satanic followers is eventually able to track the book down, freeing Atticus whose time in the book apparently wasn't very pleasant, and thus he's decided he no longer wants to be evil. This obviously angers his follower, and after Atticus leaves, the book turns the follower into a nasty yarn monster that goes on a patented killing spree. This is when we meet back with our splintered gang and find out they haven't talked to each other since the finale. Todd still feels responsible for Hannah B's death. Ginny is feeling extreme ennui without the sense of adventure that fighting off the book's supernatural shenanigans brought her, and Curtis is still not speaking to Todd and has not taken Hannah's death very well. However, once it seems clear the book is back, the three put aside their differences and fight it once more. Meanwhile, though Atticus wants to be a real guidance counselor for once, turns out Jimmy the Janitor is now occupying that position, and that Atticus's only choice is to take Jimmy's job as the janitor.
Look, just because you have a fancy diploma doesn't mean you're a better guidance counselor than me.
Of course it does. And it's diploma. Oh, wait, it actually does say diploma. I never noticed they misspelled guidance, too.
Eventually, the gang tracks the yarn monster down to the girl's bathroom as he attacks Atticus for turning his back on evil. But when the group tries to fight the monster off and inadvertently save the now good Atticus, they're a bit rusty and almost meet their doom until Hannah's clone finally reveals herself and saves them.
Yoink!
However, the new Hannah is more distant than the old Hannah, even going so far as to rebuff Curtis's advances and claiming she's not that interested in science.
Hannah, where are you going? The gang needs you. I need you. Is this about the inflatable sex doll? Because I swear, she never touched me.
Turns out, she's been listening to her dead parents' old secret recordings that explain that she was made from the Book of Pure Evil itself, and might actually be the real Pure Evil one instead of Todd. But then, when another student gets a hold of the book and uses it to get revenge on those who made fun of his acne, he accidentally kills Hannah.
Oh, poop.
Opening up a new pod eventually revealed that each subsequent Hannah clone, of which there seemed to be at least the whole alphabet's worth, are more evil than the last. The best scene in the film is when the gang has to stop all the various evil Hannah clones. Each time they kill one evil clone, another one pops up, looking more evil and monstrous than the last, with some really awesome designs that make it obvious why they chose the animated route in the end. Not only is the scene extremely funny in the dark, gross out way Todd in the Book of Pure Evil often is, but it's also a legitimately well animated action sequence with a lot of slick anime influence, which perfectly encapsulates why Todd in the Book of Pure Evil, the end of the end, and Todd the Book of Pure Evil as a whole is so great. It perfectly merges these disparate tones and is able to be at once hilarious, generally creepy, action-packed, as well as heartfelt, and does it with aplomb and tightrope walking skill. And since the film is based on a show about metalheads, it also has some great musical interludes which are also true of the show, including a fun musical number towards the middle of the film that has a great old-school metal ballad feel, as well as some great animation mimicking classic MTV music videos.
You're a shadow in the dark.
Now, while the film itself had a theatrical release in Canada on November 3rd, 2017, it has only been available in a limited edition and hard-to-find DVDs since, as well as streaming on YouTube and Google Play. But however you may have to watch it, it's worth seeing, especially after watching the original series, which is streaming on Shudder as of this recording, as well as readily available on Amazon Prime. So anyways, if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and if you have a suggestion for us, please leave them in the comments below.